My next project, which is this garden tractor that I've already started some modifications on. It was already going, but the back end was so noisy that I decided to build my own. But the basic thing that I've done is that I've lowered this actually about that much. So I've raised the front axle and then dropped this back end similarly. Normally there would be a box here which holds the back end, but I've already started some work on it. What I've started on are these kind of hinges which I've done on my lathe, and with this kind of coupling to which fits inside it. So when the end box or the rear box comes here, it's actually bolted through these two sides. So it creates a hinge which should be quite a sturdy one. I'm not sure about these, how strong they are, but I can make them stronger as needed. So the cunning plan is that there will be actually the rear end will be having suspension. So there's a hinge here. I'll be setting up a shock absorber here as well. So it's going to be a bit more fancy thing. And obviously the big thing that I'm doing for this is that it's going to be electric powered. So as you can see, the place where the engine used to be, it's now completely empty. And actually in the previous version I already did this kind of holder for the batteries. So it's already done, and that the motor itself, it's actually there in the corner. No longer needed, so I like it. Get rid of the dirty oil machines and replace with an electric one. So this is the rear box that I was earlier talking about, and here's the electric motor. It's a Mars ME0709, actually the same that I used in the Batpod build. So the Batpod is now currently without an engine or without a motor. So on the back I've already placed a tow hook and kind of made this stronger now that there will be suspension and lot more power in it. The shock absorber, I have an old Öhlins snowmobile suspension, which I was planning that I'll be placing it somewhere around here. Not sure yet which place it will be, but once I get this all the other parts done, it's probably going to be quite obvious where it needs to be put. But that should be hell of a good suspension once it's there. So this is the place where the brackets come, and I'll be bolting it in place to the frame. So if we flip it over, we can see that the axle is not yet there, but I actually have here the driver for the belt drive So I'll just take that belt, so it will be 2 belts running the rear axle, and it should be completely silent actually. And in fact I've already done some work on the, well actually quite a bit of work on the axle as well, so I have it already done pretty much, and it just needs to be, I need to drill the holes and then bolt in place. But I think the specialty in this axle is that it actually has free wheels on both sides, so it's not a solid axle, so the wheel that turns slower will be the one that gets the power. I've never done it before, so it's an interesting test how it will be to try, but it should be doing the same job as the differential. So let's see. That's going to be interesting. Anyway, the belt drive will be placed here, so 2 grooves for the belts. So that's the next thing to do. But well, even one before that is to place the brake disc on the axle. So I have to do a mounting here on the lathe where I can put this, and then the rest of the brake things will be set here somewhere. That will be clear as well once it's there. Pretty simple design, and next thing to do is the bracket for the brake. I have already measured that the distance between the holes is something like 6.5 centimeters, 65 mils, and so it should be enough if I do the holder from a 80 millimeter bar. And normally I would be using this belt saw that I have borrowed from my father-in-law. Actually, he's retired, so he said that it's a really long loan that I have. So, but normally just place it there. It takes quite a while to cut this one, but luckily now I have this already cut, so it should be fairly a lot of time spent there if I had to cut it shorter. So next thing I'll just place this to the lathe. Okay, the other side of the block is fairly straight, so I can just use that as a guide. It's going to be fairly long, but I'm running it quite slow, so it doesn't really make that much of a difference. Just try to rotate it, get it straight. I typically also check that it's quite, the placement is quite good, so by using the cutter for that. So I'm a low budget guy, so I don't have a quick release for the bits, so I'll just use a bit more time to fasten these things, and to me it works fine. I'm not in a hurry, so it's a hobby for me, so really matter. Okay, that's it. So let's check that it's close enough. Yeah, it seems to be that it's pretty much perfect. Okay, next I'll just straighten this end up. And then start from there. Just tighten up so that it doesn't move at all. Okay, so close the hatch and see what happens. Should be running about 600 RPMs, but it's wobbling a little, so I'll have to do several runs again. Up a little. Diameter is no longer 80 mils, so takes a while to cut it, but this is the best thing I found it to do. My lathe is such a low power, so using a cutting blade is not really a good option. So this one is much faster and much easier for me. The adapter for the brake is now done, so this is how it turned out to be. The brake disc fits nicely in this side, and I'll just bolt it in place and put it to the axle. I made the hole quite tight, so it would automatically align itself properly. So what do you know? It did fit. It's perfect. I'll need to weld it still, but that's about the right place for it. I'm using an old caliper motorcycle. I have no idea which motorcycle it is, but that's might be a problem when I have to purchase new brake pads, but for the time being they are just fine, and I can always buy a new one when they wear out. But that should fit right there. I've done some work on the frame as well, so I built this support for the rear fender, and it's also where the other end of the shock absorber gets attached to. So this is pretty sturdy. The fender itself is it's the stock version of this. I haven't done any modification on it. It fits there. It will actually hide all that structure. But once the rear end is put in place and the seat comes on top of here, it should be just fun to ride. It's a bit lower than the stock tractor, so hopefully it won't tip over that easily. It's going to go quite fast actually. The motor is relatively high RPMs, so it should go something like 50 kilometers an hour. The back end is now some 3 centimeters, just over an inch wider than the original was. Hopefully it will make it a bit more stable. There's the shock absorber, but I'll have to change it. It's too stiff because I had to put it this way. As you know, it would be closer to the hinge normally. There's also the belt system. I had to do an extra belt because my belt was slightly longer. I was first planning to order a new one, but then I decided that I'll just make this quickly with the extra roll. This one here, some extra, that's for tensioning the other one. There's the brake. And it does roll actually, which is cool. Here's a view from below, which reveals the back end a bit better. Thanks to the magic of time traveling, the brake is now done. So there's the leverage. So there's an axle which is turned by the pedal, and just a simple joints there to pass it to the brake. This is a front brake from a motorcycle, so that's why this construction is a bit weird. And if I need to top up the fluid, then I need to take this off. So there's the floor. Let's add some electronics. That's the brain of any electric vehicle, so some sort of a controller which takes care of controlling the amount of voltage, or it's a pulse width modulated controller, so it controls the width of the pulse which is passed to the motor. So I made this a pretty simple package or neat package. So this one goes to the plus of the battery, the plus of the 48, and the other end goes to the minus of the 48. This one goes to the negative of the motor, and this one goes to the positive of the motor. And the contactor is here for cutting the current when the ignition is not on. And then there's the switch connectors for latching this contactor, and the actual Hall sensor is hooked in here. I think these two were the ones. I'll have to double check that. Obviously for this tractor I have to make these motor wires longer as the motor is in the back end of the, and this will be placed in the front. I have to charge before I put the batteries in place, so let's assemble this back part in the meantime. Okay, quick update. The belt drive did not work, so I've replaced it with the normal chain drive. Now it won't slip. I'll reassemble the tractor and then it's time for the test drive.